Once you kind of master that, you're able to kind of just close sales after sales after sales. So all these leads are an opportunity to generate clients.
Welcome to the PMU Marketer podcast. Today, I'm honored to be joined by Kathy. She's one of my long-term clients. She's out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and you've had some great success the past couple of years. When did you start?
Probably 2 years ago with Jake. Yep, with you guys.
Yep. So 2 years ago is when you started your business, right?
I started my business
Yep.
2 years ago. I started marketing and working with you for a little over a year now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So as far as like what you like, my favorite question to ask every artist is like, if you could go back in time, because I know if I could go back when I started, I would have done things a little bit differently or like done more of something. So what would you tell yourself if you could go back 2 years ago?
To start marketing sooner, to start having more exposure with my business, with
Yeah.
my brand, and actually catching on to leads and how I'm supposed to close and how I'm supposed to sell. So talking to how I'm supposed to talk to my clients.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a huge topic for a lot of
Right.
my clients because you guys are very good at doing brows and doing your art. But when it's like, okay, I got a potential customer, what do I say to them? A lot of people struggle with that. So let's kind of dive deep into this. What do you specifically think has helped you the most when it comes to converting more people to bookings?
So I think your program and the accelerator program specifically, and teaching how you should be navigating through those conversations, leading, always leading with the question, always responding with the question so that you can keep those conversations going, never leading with price.
Yeah,
So
that's big.
those are the things, because even I've experimented with, let me see how, if I go ahead and give them pricing, what's going to happen. And 10 out of 10 times they do ghost. They don't,
Yeah.
they don't follow up. And so following up is actually a really good skill to have when to incorporate in your business, right? Because
Yeah.
most people aren't going to book the first time they see your ad. They're skeptical. They don't know who you are. And that kind of keeps you in their mind of like researching, looking you up, and when you're following with them, they're able to continue to like be like, oh, this is somebody that actually cares about following up with me and educating me on their services.
Yeah, the old famous how much question. So like if you always get that question of how much, how much your brows, how much, let me know in the comments right now because that is, by far the most common question.
Right.
So let's talk about that. Like when somebody asks how much, you mentioned a couple of tactics like, breaking it down for them and saying like, okay, well, how long have you been looking into brows?
Yes. Yeah.
What are some other things they can do?
So I always say, great question. Our services do vary in pricing.
Okay.
What specific service are you actually interested in? And I'll give them the services that I provide so that they have options to choose. And from there, they'll let me know they either don't know or they'll pick like powder brows or microblading.
Yeah.
And from there, I educate them on what the service is. What is exactly microblading? And I ask them, does this match your desired look? Is this something that you're interested in? And from there, we kind of talk about what might be best for their skin type and why this might be best. And so you continue that conversation so they understand exactly what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah, so I like that because you're customizing. It's just like if you go to the doctor, like they're not just going to be like, here's the latest and greatest medicine. They're going to be like, okay, what's actually wrong with you? What are your symptoms? And you're
Right.
doing the same thing. You're
Yeah.
saying, what kind of skin type are you? Like, what do you like or not like about your brows? And how do you want to improve those?
Yeah.
And so that way you're not just like trying to push something onto them.
Yes.
Like one, from an ethical business, standpoint, we are, making sure that your service is right for your client.
Right,
Because you don't
exactly.
want to just try to sell everybody everything because one, that discredits you because like it feels like you're a pushy salesperson. That's unfortunately what a lot of microblading and permanent makeup artists do. They're just like,
Focused on
they don't ask any questions and they just focus on that.
With customer service, when I feel like they're looking for something, you tell them like why this is not going to work for them. And then you tell them why this is going to work for them. So you always kind of give them an option of microblading is not going to work for you because you have oily skin. So powder brows is actually more compatible and
Yep.
will give you better retention.
Yeah.
And I always kind of make it like this is an investment. Like, it's not the cheapest thing. So you want to make sure that it lasts. You want to choose what is best for you and your skin type so that you feel like you get the value of your money out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and one line that Tony likes to teach, like he's my COO, one thing he likes to teach, you guys is if somebody is focused on price,
Yeah.
say something like, would you find the cheapest plastic surgeon? Would you choose the cheapest plastic surgeon? Because I mean, it's almost the same, concept. You're doing permanent makeup; it's on your face permanently. So, if they're focused on price, try to put that in perspective for them.
Yeah. Um, I feel like a lot of people associate low cost with low quality.
Yeah.
So when you think about it in that aspect, you want to be able to, when you start as an artist, keep your prices decent according to the quality of your work. So most people, I think, as artists, start out with maybe $300, $400 as new artists. And once they give more value or get more clientele, they can increase their prices then. So
Yep.
you want to be able to just build your reputation and make people feel like you care about what you do,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've even had a lot of microblading artists who come to me and say, like, I'm having trouble getting clients, and I look at their prices and it's like $150 or $200. I'm like, you need to raise your prices because people assume you're really bad when you have super
Or
low
that
prices
you're a
like
new
that.
that you're a new artist and
Yeah.
you don't understand how to price and so
Yeah.
that definitely is a good point.
So if you're watching this right now and you're only charging like $100 or $200 for brows, raise your prices. That will actually help you get more clients and build more trust.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's talk a little bit about, advertising. So you've been advertising about a year now.
Yeah.
What do you find are the biggest positives of it and any negatives? Like we can go both ways.
I think that when it comes to advertising, you need to have the time to follow up with your leads, right? You
Mhm.
need to be able to have the time to have those conversations with them. And it's time consuming, but it helps you build the skill of selling. And that way you can kind of understand what your market needs or what your clients need to hear,
Yeah.
right? The positive thing is once you kind of master that, you're able to kind of just close sales after sales after sales. So all these leads are an opportunity to generate clients, but you have to put in the work,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And I totally understand, like for you, like if you're booked up, you're not going to have time to sit there and
Ex-
follow up with everyone.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then, it's great to have an assistant that can do that, but not everybody has an assistant.
Or can
And
afford
so,
one.
exactly. And so I showed you that platform we just recently developed where it'll actually automatically follow up for you.
Yeah.
It'll send follow-ups. It'll, let's say that you reply to someone, say, this is my most popular service.
Yeah.
And then they ghost you,
Right.
which basically means they don't respond.
It's an assistant, a virtual assistant, basically for $400. I don't think
Yep.
that you can get a virtual assistant anywhere else to do the things that you guys have implemented on the platform for that low of a price. So
Yeah, and that's a promo price right
yeah,
now, but it will go up.
yeah,
So if you are interested in a software that will follow up directly with you, let me know in the comments or just reach out to us because we are doing a beta test group right now.
perfect. Yeah. So guys, sign up. I promise you won't regret it. Everybody try the AI system. I love it. So yeah.
Awesome. So you are starting training now, right? Too?
Yes.
Okay. What kind of training are you doing?
Microblading, powder brows, so any type of training. I also want to get into coaching,
Mhm.
helping people as new artists build up their business through my story and what I did and what was successful. So I think a lot of people are very scared to make the commitment of signing a lease to have their own
Yeah.
place. When you're first starting, before you basically build up your clientele, sublease so that you can keep your overhead costs low, right?
Mhm.
And once you get into a place where you have the volume, sublease the place.
Now, for someone who's maybe a brand new business owner, can you
Yeah.
kind of explain what that means?
Um, for me, what it means is I I took my first PMU course in April of 2021. And from there, I already basically signed a lease to my new salon suite, and that was just because I felt like I was confident enough to be able to be successful. Right? I invested in the right trainings. I had a good mentor, and so you're starting from ground zero. You don't have any marketing experience. You don't
Yeah.
have a social media presence. You don't have a website. You don't know anything about
Yep.
advertising. You really are a novice in this business world.
Mhm.
So that imagine how many hats you have to start wearing, you know? And if you do have the basic skills like customer service, knowing how to be personable, kind of working social media in a decent way, then those are skills that you have, but you have to continue to develop them. And
Right.
that just is through educating yourself and using your resources. Yeah.
Okay. So when you say sublease, can you kind of explain like the
Yeah.
process of how you would negotiate that or how that what
Yeah,
that
so there
involves?
are a lot of beauty salons. They don't have full-time, I guess, full-time professionals who use their studio every single day of the week. So if you have clients that you just want to take on for 2 days of the week, you
Hmm.
can negotiate basically to sublease for those 2 days, and you're not paying $300, $400 a week or $1,300 a month
Yeah.
for, because if you're not bringing in that many clients, you're going to end up being at a loss because you don't have clients to pay for your rent.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah.
Awesome. So, like, it doesn't have to be about marketing, but just in general, like,
Mhm.
what are the biggest struggles you think new artists have? Like, if you were going to coach somebody, what do you think their biggest issues would be right now?
Getting clients always. That's always, and
Yeah.
I feel like you can never have enough clients, right? You always are gonna need more money. There's Everything is always going up in cost, so you need
Yeah.
to be able to every year either double your income or make more money, right? And with that, that means more clientele.
Yeah.
Also pricing, increasing your prices in the right and the proper way, right? So
Hmm.
marketing is, I think everyone needs it. There's really nobody and no industry that doesn't use it. Even big brands like what Pepsi and what like Coke and Nike, like they still use advertising, even though they're like multi-billion-dollar companies.
Yep.
So in order for you to kind of grow your business, you have to invest in it. And if you think about it, you're going to always get a return on your investments, even if it's just one client, depending on what your prices are. So,
Yeah, because you could be the best artist in the world, and we're actually like at an educational
yeah.
event right now.
Mhm.
And it's like no matter how many services you have, no matter how good you are at your craft,
Mhm.
if people don't know about you, they can't book
They
with
don't,
you.
yeah, they
You-
don't know. If
Yeah,
they don't know about you, then they don't know about you and they can't book with you. That's very true. I agree with that. Yeah.
awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on the podcast and sharing some tips and stuff. If they want to follow you on Instagram, where can they go?
Yeah. Frames Beauty Co. FRAMED Frames Beauty Co. And that is my business page. Yep.
Sweet. And if you are interested in learning more about our new AI system that actually does automatic follow-ups and manage your leads, let me know in the comments or reach out to us on pmumarketer.com and we'll hook you up.